What's up, guys? This is Michael. Welcome back to the channel, and I have a question for you. Well, actually, I have a number of questions for you, but here we go. All right. What makes a hero? Better yet, what makes us who we are? I ask a question, what makes a hero, first. And I want you to keep these questions in mind as you listen to the video because it is relevant to the anime that I just got done watching a couple days ago. And I'm ready to review it, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So let's start. The anime that we're going to be talking about is called Clevatess. Okay? It is 12 episodes long, one season, and it's okay. But it does ask the question that I was asking at the beginning of the video. What makes a hero? It also asks the question, as human beings, as mankind, what makes us who we are? What makes us unique? What makes us special? What makes us tick, right? So with those questions being asked, let's get into the review of Clevatess. So Clevatess is the story of your battle between good and evil, right? And we remember the questions, what makes a hero? So let's dive deep into that first of all, right? Remember, this is relevant to the conversation. So, first of all, what makes a hero? Is it his strength? The strength of like his muscles? Is it he's incredibly jacked? Maybe it's his sword that he carries or weapon of choice, whichever you think of, however you think of your hero. Is it the way he looks? Is it the strength of his heart? Always willing to, always willing to, do what's right. Or maybe another question is what gives a hero his purpose? Is it just fighting the villains? Is it just saving people? Or again, is it doing what's right? What makes a hero, right? Now, in this story, we follow our journey takes us down the path of a girl named Alucia. Okay. Alucia lives in this small village where one of the first scenes in the anime is we see her training with a sword. She's practicing sword techniques because her ultimate goal is wanting to be a hero. Her father is teaching her the ways of the sword. And one thing we learn in this world right off the bat, besides seeing Alucia, train with a sword, is humanity has been confined in a way to a small part of this world. Okay? Like, they've essentially, humanity, as we come to know in this story, has been cut off from the rest of the world. They don't know beyond their village or beyond their cities or beyond their kingdoms. They don't know what's out there, what's beyond those borders. Well, and the question is why don't they know? It's because outside the borders of the kingdoms, of the cities, of the villages, dark beasts and the dark beast lords rule over this territory. And so far, they don't let anybody through. No, but every time they have sent an adventurer or a party of adventurers to go explore beyond the domains of the dark beasts, nobody comes back alive. They're all killed. Alucia wants to be a hero. Legend says that a hero will rise up once they are anointed by the Haydn King and the legendary Forge of Haydn, which is a kingdom in this story, that a hero will emerge with the strength to finally destroy the dark beast and release humanity on back into the world. Alucia aims to do this. She wants to be a hero. She, like a normal kid when she's a little girl, she wants to see what's beyond her boundaries. In a way, you could say it's like Attack on Titan. The only difference is there's no Titans and there's no Eren who wants to commit. Well, we'll just stop there. But either way, let's continue. So, in the first episode, and I probably should have preferenced this review first by saying spoiler alerts. And if you haven't seen Clevatess yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I normally don't do this, but click away from this video, go watch Clevatess. It's 12 episodes, and then come back and watch this video. Anyway, let's do it. So, a time skip happens, and we see that Alucia actually does become a hero. She is one out of 13 people that were selected by the Haydn King to receive a regalia, which is like armor, a sword, and it's imbued with magic, to go and defeat the Dark Beast Lord Clevatess, who lives atop a mountain. These 13 heroes are determined. They are full of vigor. They are full of energy. They feel, some are experienced adventurers. Some are experienced adventurers. Some are rookies like Alucia. But either way, she's determined. She's determined to defeat Clevatess, not just because she's a hero and not just to save mankind and explore the outside world, but her father. Her father, who at this point who has passed, and it's been a while since he's passed, a long time ago. For her, she's doing this for her father. For her, she's doing this to achieve her dream and his. Because not only was it her dream to see the outside world, but it was his as well. Unfortunately, her dream is cut short. Because when they finally arrive at Clevatess's lair, Clevatess is basically, why are you here? Why have you invaded my domain? And the heroes fight valiantly and bravely, but ultimately, they die, including Alucia. She dies. Now, normally you would think, okay, that's the end of it. So, how are we following her journey? So, let me ask you this. What makes a hero? Is it the regalia? Is it magic? Is it strength? Is it a purpose? Is it a dream? What makes a hero? Now, let's look at things from the perspective of Clevatess. Clevatess is a dark beast lord. When we meet him, again, it's when the 13 heroes who have been united by the Haydn King to come and destroy him, we see that basically he just wants to live in peace. That to him, humans are no more than a nuisance. Mankind is no more than nothing to him. And it's one of those things where it's like, as long as they stay in their domain, he'll leave them alone. And as long as, it's kind of like it is with wild animals, right? You leave them alone, they leave you alone. So as long as they stay in their domain, he'll leave them alone, right? And as long as they don't go into his domain, he'll leave them alone. You see what I'm saying here? The thing is, though, they break this rule. And for him, he questions, why did they do this? They know how powerful I am. He's, thinking to himself. It's like, they know how powerful I am. Why would they take the risk to essentially leave their domain, leave their kingdom, leave their cities to come and fight with me? What is it that makes them tick? Like, why would you be, essentially, why would they be that stupid? So, after defeating the 13 heroes, Clevatess decides, essentially, okay. At first, he doesn't decide to be what makes them tick. At first, he's like, because they invaded my domain and they invaded my territory, so on and so forth, I'm going to destroy the Haydn Kingdom. I'm going to destroy humanity. Because essentially, I was just living my life. It was his retaliation. I was just sleeping, doing my thing, and you chose to invade me, so now I'm going to make you pay for it. And he does. Clevatess goes on a rampage and basically destroys the Haydn capital, the Haydn royal capital. He even manages to kill the king. When he's done ravaging the kingdom, he's about to walk away. And he has decided that he's going to go to other kingdoms and destroy them as well. Until he hears crying. It's a baby. Out of the rubble, a woman, a servant of the royal kingdom, a servant of the king, emerges out of the rubble and says, please take this baby. And at first, Clevatess doesn't want to. Clevatess says, he's looking at it like good, like I'm on a hunt to destroy mankind because mankind has nothing to offer. We have to remember that Clevatess, who is a dark beast, essentially he's a god, he doesn't believe that humans can serve a purpose. He thinks humans are lower than him, and he's on a quest to destroy them. But it is this woman, this servant, that says, no, please, take this child. I promise you, humanity has something to offer. Mankind does have something to offer. We are resilient. We are resilient. We grow stronger. She also admits that this baby boy, is the future king. He's a prince. And that Haydn must survive thanks to him. For as long as he's alive, Haydn will endure. The sacred forge will be essentially there. It'll still be able to work, which is something that Haydn counts on, because that's where they get their regalia. That's how they forge their weapons for the heroes. Clevatess, again, he still wants to refuse to take the baby. But this lady, she insists, and she's determined to make sure that this boy survives. Clevatess decides that he wants to take this child, but not to save him because he has a compassionate heart, but because he's intrigued. He wants to see what makes mankind tick, what makes them grow stronger, what makes them survive, what makes them thrive through the most hardest of hardships. And so he agrees to take the child. At first, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to take care of a baby. The baby won't stop crying. Clevatess continues to use his energy to at least get the baby to sleep, but as far as hunger goes, he doesn't know how to feed a baby. So, Clevatess does the only thing that he can think of. He goes back to the battlefield where the 13 heroes were killed. And he uses his dark ichor, which essentially is his own blood, to revive Alucia, saying that he needs help in taking care of this child. At first, Alucia is skeptical because this is the beast that essentially killed her. This is the beast that essentially killed her dream and her father's dream. This is the beast that killed her comrades. Why should she help him? But Clevatess says, because I am intrigued, I want to see I want to see if humans are actually worth saving, or if I need to destroy them all. Essentially, Alucia tells him that he needs to find a wet nurse because the baby needs milk. YouTube, I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not going to say the other word. I want to, but I don't know if I can. And we're trying to stay safe on this channel, so somewhat. My point is that through the first episode, we have these two questions. And throughout the series, we have these two questions. What makes a hero? And what makes us as humans or mankind who we are? I'm going to briefly talk about the end of the series right quick. Alucia and Clevatess, who has transformed himself at this point into a human, kind of. He's, I guess you would say, like an orc with one horn, half human, half orc. I believe they're called Agus or something in the series. But he's essentially transformed himself so that nobody will be scared of him as they travel. His goal is to get the baby back to Haydn so that he can place the baby not just on the throne, but over the forge so that he can get great power. Clevatess's goal throughout the series is to become an advisor to the future king so that he can rule, essentially, through humans. So that through the baby, through the new king, through the young prince, Clevatess's will be heard. Essentially, so he can control humanity in his own way. But at the end of this series, we see a change in Clevatess. At the beginning of episode 12, he's all but given up on wanting to destroy humanity, but he just wants to go home. He's willing to leave the baby. It is here that the young prince, who has never walked before, actually starts learning how to walk to chase after Clevatess, who is going by the name of Glenn, by the way. Why is he chasing after him? It is because the young prince has grown attached to him. In fact, the young prince has grown attached to everyone in the party, from Alucia to Melaru, who at the beginning of the series was a slave to a bunch of bandits. All three of them have kept this prince safe. But when it looks like that Clevatess is about to give up, when it looks like that he's done, It is Alucia who tells him, don't tell me that this baby has not impacted you. Don't tell me that this baby has not shown you what humans can endure, what we as mankind can offer. Don't tell me that this baby has not changed you. And it is this that changes Clevatess's mind. And so after the battle is all set and done and the enemy army is retreating and everything like that, the queen, who essentially sees her child in the arms of Clen or Clevatess, is running over to him, and Clevatess says stop. And Alucia gets worried because she feels that Clevatess is going to do something bad to the child right in front of his mother. Instead, Clevatess has a change of heart and says, let the future king stand on his own. And it is here where Clevatess places the baby on the ground, and the baby begins to walk to his mother, showing his resilience, showing his strength to overcome the adversity and all the hardships that he has endured to get to this point. And in the end, Alucia is recognized as a hero. Of course, she always was one, even though she failed her mission in the beginning. She learns the value of what makes a hero. And Clevatess learns that humanity, even though it has its faults, and even though that there is a prophecy in this quote unquote book of Torah that I didn't mention, Clevatess is willing to set aside his own ideals of humanity for this child, for this boy. And at the end of the series, the queen asks him, what is it that you would like? You have, essentially you're allowed to ask for one favor. And he says, I simply wish to become the king's magic teacher. Again, Alucia, when the queen asks if there is anything that Clen would like in return for keeping her son safe, she cringes because she remembers his original goal. And he ultimately says, I just want to be the king's magic teacher. So now I'll ask you, dear viewer, after hearing all of that, what makes a hero? Through this series, I think it's answered. And it's one word that comes to mind that makes a hero. It's not the strength, it's not the weapon, it's not the ideals. It's compassion. It is the strength and compassion of others, for others, that makes a hero. Because a hero who fights without that is compared to General Drell. General Drell, who was once in the running to be a hero, ultimately lost to his pupil, Alucia's father, Marco. And Marco became a hero. Had the regalia, had the armor, had everything. Until he went up against a dragon. and lost his leg, and he couldn't be a hero anymore. And so it was Drell that took up the hero. However, Drell was controlled by an evil dark beast that was trying to prevent this prophecy of Torah from coming true. But either way, Drell was given the nickname the Dragon Slayer. He carried a sword. He had the armor, the regalia, the everything. But he didn't have compassion. Drell's goal was to end the anointing of new heroes. He believed that the humans of old were better heroes than those today. That those today just wanted to be heroes for fame, fortune, and glory. Whereas the true heroes, or the humans that came before their ancestors, they were the true heroes. But what made them heroes? But either way, I would say that coming out of this series, what makes a hero is compassion. His compassion, their compassion for others. Because that is what gives them the strength to do the heroic deeds that they do. That ultimately gives them the power to carry on even when things look to be at their darkest. That gives them the strength to speak even when their words maybe fall on deaf ears. It is compassion that allows a hero to make the ultimate sacrifice when the walls of the enemy or the walls of darkness, we'll say, start to close in around them. Because a hero is willing to sacrifice his life for compassion, because he has compassion for others, because he knows that as long as he can help others and be there for others, that his strength, his compassion, and all of his good deeds will pass on to others. And as for Clevatess' question, what makes us, mankind, who we are? Well, it's resilience. Once again, it's compassion, but it is our resilience that even though we as human beings are weak, that we grow stronger through compassion. We grow stronger through our experiences. When we are born, we crawl, and then we begin to walk. And from there, we get stronger. And from there, we run. And from there, we're able to do incredible things, including achieving our dreams. So if you'll indulge me, and I know this video's run kind of long, but I really enjoyed Clevatess, and I really wanted to review this with you guys. I wanted to review it earlier, but I wanted to wait until the end of the series. It gets a little slow towards the middle, but in the end, the payoff is rewarding for sure. But I'd like to end this video with a quote from one of my favorite movies, and no, it's not Star Wars. It's actually Transformers. And it's Transformers The Last Night, I think, which was like the 5th Transformers movie. But it's something that Optimus Prime says. And it goes a little like this. At the heart of every legend, there is truth. A few brave souls unite to save their worlds. We can be heroes in our own lives if we only have the courage to try. That's it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Thanks for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Clevatess is now streaming on Crunchyroll. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it just as much as I did. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And if you have, if you've been watching it this whole time, let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, that's it. So please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the algorithm out. It lets the algorithm know that you like my content and you want to see more of it. And leave a comment before you head out the dojo today. Hit that notification bell so you know when I make another video. And remember, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go make it an anime day. And I will see you all in the next video.